Welcome back, everyone. Hope your Sunday is doing well, and I hope you guys are feeling some sense of happiness after our 1-0 win against West Ham. I'm giving you guys a surprise double upload today because, of course, we have to discuss the big news that has broken surrounding Antonio Rudiger, as Thomas Tuchel confirms that Rudiger will be leaving at the end of the season. In today's video, I wanted to use this as an opportunity to provide a lot of context behind what I've been hearing about this deal and some of the reasons behind why Rudiger is leaving, and I'm sure some of you guys could be surprised by things. Of course, I do want to stress that yesterday I was a bit too hasty with some of my thoughts and comments. Of course, you guys know that I do have some issues with the boards, but that doesn't mean that I undermine everything and anything that they do. But, it wasn't the right context in which I used some of my grievances with the boards and applied it to the Rudiger situation, because in today's video, I really want to stress that the board had every right to do what they did in these negotiations. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to watch the match review as well, linked in the card above. And to start with things, let's see exactly what Tuchel had to say in his post-match interviews after the game.
A huge influence, of course, in the dressing room. He's the guy to give other people's courage. He's the guy that everybody's a bit afraid of. He's the kind of player, but he's also, let's focus on the sports, he's the guy to play 50, 55 games, 90 minutes on an outstanding level. He was the top defender in the last 1.5 years with me, and I have nothing but respect and for what he did, and he needs to keep on going until the end. But yeah, then we need to find another solution.
Now, Tuchel ultimately stresses that it was these ill-timed sanctions which led to us losing Antonio Rudiger. He's of the belief that with more time, there could have been solutions that were found, and unfortunately due to these sanctions, all these opportunities were blocked off and we'll never know what could have happened. Shame for him. He's losing his general, his leader, a guy that he relies upon and respects a lot. Rudiger and Tuchel have an amazing relationship, and now we have to go back to the drawing boards and scheme up solutions on how we're still going to maintain our challenge for next season, even though we are losing a world-class defender and one of our most experienced and key guys. However, in today's video, you guys, I do want to talk some more news behind why and how exactly Rudiger is leaving. An article that was released by John Cross came out late last night, and after I uploaded the video, actually, straight away, I got a lot of information behind this deal, this news, and I was just like, oh, if only I got this earlier, yesterday's video would have been absolutely completely different. But regardless, you guys, from what I'm hearing, Rudiger knew since January that he was set to leave. Now, I guess it could be argued that, once he gets to January, players are, more than likely bound to leave. And, it took our third offer to really entice him. However, ultimately it wasn't enough. He knew from January that he was gone, hence why his brother, his agent, has been holding many talks with clubs like Paris Saint-Germain, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus and Bayern Munich as well too, which kind of implies that this was set in stone. Now, what's the reason behind Rudiger leaving? Honestly, the truth is it's purely financial, and a tiny bit of it has to do with the fact that, I think feud's a very strong word, don't hold me too much to that, but it's more the fact that Rudiger still hasn't fully appreciated how he was treated during Lampard's time at the club. He felt like he was out the team too quickly. He felt like he wasn't getting enough chances to prove himself in a back four, and ultimately with how quick the club were to just releasing him and selling him just like that, it's been something that has always kind of miffed him in that sense. But the main thing is, it was the finances. Rudiger had an ambition to make this contract offer the life-changing one, the one that was going to set him and his bro up forever, basically, and he is absolutely entitled to do that. I'm not going to be sitting here saying a guy that's worked hard his entire career to be in a position where literally, out of all the millions of people that strive to be professional football players, the 0.00% that do, and the 0.00% that reach the highest level, say, for me, listen, you're entitled to that money, bro. I'm not holding that against you. But the truth is, the club, they tried and they did their bit. The offer presented to Rudiger in the end was the biggest, greatest ever offer we've ever given any defender in our entire history. I can actually provide some numbers on what these figures exactly were. Now, the base salary offered to Rudiger was around 180k per week, but on top of that, it included many clauses, of course, bonus clauses, appearance fees, etc., etc., which ultimately would have raised the overall value of his contract potentially at a max to around like 250k. Now, his brother had been negotiating to make the base salary at 200,000, and on top of that, the clauses would have included things like image rights, goal bonuses, clean sheet bonuses, appearance fees, defensive bonuses, etc., which would have made the overall package around 300,000 a week, which was of course a lot more than the club wanted to pay. And interestingly enough, the offer that Madrid have presented to Rudiger is a better one, but their base salary offer is less than ours. It's 150k a week, but obviously it seems that they've met the clauses, the bonuses that, you know, Rudiger and his brother are hoping to get, and they've been able to offset the base wage by offering Rudiger an insane and crazy signing on bonus to help mitigate things. Now, Paris Saint-Germain did present the best financial offer. They presented the full 200k base salary demands plus bonuses on top, but you know, one of the realities is that a lot of pros that want to compete at the highest level, unfortunately Liga and is never really going to be enough for most players out there. So I guess Marina had every right to not really up the demands as Mosley did. I mean, already, you know, the offer was incredible as it is to be like the highest paid defender in our history, even though, you know, some could argue that maybe Rudiger would he excel necessarily in a back four setup. You know, are we seeing key performances that would justify the salary over the next 3-4 years? Could he maintain that same level? I mean, who knows? These are all, you know, ifs and whats and buts. And as was confirmed as well by John Cross, you know, the latest offer we presented was actually before the sanctions. So the sanctions didn't necessarily kill negotiations. You know, this offer had been on the table for a while, but of course Rudiger and his brother, you know, they're holding talks with other interested parties, which is absolutely fair. It's the nature of how things operate at like a top 4 level. So I do get it, even though I'm disappointed that, you know, we're losing an experienced figure that would have been helpful. So, you know, I'm praying help us mount a title challenge for next season. The club don't want to bend down for anyone and just meet anyone and everyone's demands. I mean, look at clubs like Man United, where they've kind of been suffering from, you know, that same type of poor strategy. Things like that don't work here. And, you know, there have been some other things between Rudiger and the club, which, you know, I don't want to talk about. Listen, I'm not here to be doing none of that stuff. But I guess all these factors combined was that, you know, ultimately, this is the best offer, the fairest one we've given you. If it's not good enough for you, it was nice. It was nice knowing you. Thank you for your service. We move on and we find the options to compete again. Now, to give my closing thoughts, potentially with Rudiger set to leave, could this even be like a bit of a blessing in disguise? Now, hear me out for a second. With Rudiger going and with the arguments being that, you know, he really is tailor-made for a back three system, maybe it's time now to use his loss as an opportunity to make the midfield the most important part of the team. You know, Rudiger going, Christensen going, you're going to spend a ton of money to be able to sign 2 defenders to help, you know, bring that same type of quality back in the team. And I said in yesterday's video, you know, the sales of your Zumas, guys, everyone combined, like 7 great defensive options combined, is literally less than 80 million. 2 defenders alone are going to far exceed those costs. I mean, you're considering, like, you know, the signing on fees, bonuses, agent fees, wages, etc., etc. It becomes even more expensive. Would it make more sense to focus on the midfield, knowing that you don't have to invest too much money in that position, knowing the fact that you have lots of great talent there that have the goal threat, the pressing, the passing, and all the attributes that you would need, and knowing the fact that it could be a lot cheaper to use the midfield as your focal point instead of relying on a defense? Those could be arguments, potentially. Knowing the fact too that players like Reece James could easily play in a back three system. When we need to use that, I'm hoping in big games for next season. Ideally, you guys know me, I want us to be 4-3-3 for the big games. We'll go back to back 3 because we perform using that system against the big boys. You know, 2 systems for 2 different opponents. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, though, we have to see what happens. Who knows what we do with the defensive options? For me, Colwell has to be 1. Koundé, I guess, is going to be set to be the other guy because this deal should have happened last summer. It's not going to just end all of a sudden unless another club comes through. But even then, most of the big clubs don't really have money like that. That's why they're all taking advantage of free agents in this window currently. So, you know, maybe there's an opportunity here to make something out of nothing and really use Rudiger's loss as the way now to evolve the midfields and make that the key part in the team. Of course, I want to say quickly too before I go, you guys, you know, Rudiger, it was a player that definitely changed my impressions of him. As I'm going to be honest, of course, you guys, I've been a vocal critic of him over previous seasons. This past 18 months, 24 months has been the best we've ever seen of Rudiger. And a lot of credit doesn't just go to Tuchel for helping him, but it has to go to Rudiger as well for, I think, evolving and developing as a player. For me, the big thing about him that I didn't like was the fact that he'd always get basics wrong before. It'd be things like, for me personally, I thought he was maybe a bit too cocky or overconfident. He kind of do this little stagger thing when he walk in the field a lot of times, and he'd be caught out due to poor defense positioning, or he'd be too rash in the tackle. I think now after that injury, maybe being out the team a bit, maybe him, his team, whatever, they realign the strategy. I think now that he respects the basics even more, it's made him an even more fearsome player now, because now he knows how to make the right decisions at the best possible time. I mean, some of the things Rudiger's doing now in terms of some of the slide tackles he made, can't forget the one in the Champions League final, some of the blocks too against Real Madrid, big game performances, the headers, I mean, I can go on, and the passing out from the back too to find the wing backs. I mean, for me, the guy is a world-class defender. Credit to him for getting himself to this level, and I guess best of luck now. I'm happy that he's going and leaving this country and going abroad at least, and I guess, you know, lessons to learn from this, hopefully, and let's hope that we can secure more contract deals before season start, because this gives us better opportunities to plan for the future. So you guys, on that note, that's my video today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Check out the match review. I'm in EFC, this is Blue Lines CV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.